Where is Canelo's announcement? Who is he fighting next? What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I just had a question. Who is Canelo fighting? You know, I made videos and I was saying that I've noticed Canelo's star power seems to be waning. It seems to be dwindling down. You look at last year, he was supposed to fight on the quote-unquote Mexican date against Kovalev. He ended up fighting Kovalev, but he was actually supposed to fight him in September on the Mexican date. And his team couldn't get it done. Kovalev was arguing about more money, etc. So Kovalev went on to fight against Anthony Yarde. In that fight, he came up short, and then he almost got stopped in the 9th round, I believe it was. And then after, his team was able to successfully negotiate with Kovalev, main event's top rank, and work out some kind of deal that promised him a lot of money. And he got the money he was looking for. So the fight happened, but the fight was a dud, in my opinion. It looked FAF. It was made to wait for UFC 244, and I really just feel like that was a huge, detrimental, pivotal move and executive decision that DAZN made that made Canelo look bad, because he's supposed to be the face of boxing. I've said it before. I said it the day of, and when they did that, I just couldn't help but think I couldn't picture Floyd Mayweather playing second fiddle to a Dana White UFC fight. So that really was an embarrassing look for boxing. That night we held an L. And then to make it more messed up, DAZN, Joe Markowski, SVP of DAZN, was asked about the UFC fight, and he said there's no real crossover, overlapping audience. This is all on interview that you can find on YouTube. He said there's no real correlation or crossover audience. The UFC is their own thing and boxing is his own thing. So as a result, he said he wasn't worried about it. And obviously DAZN was worried about it, because come the fight, they were playing the UFC 244 fight in the arena at the MGM. And they have a rival company, Bellator, and they normally show their fight. So it was a bad look. Canelo was waiting, warmed up, and then had to sit and wait for the main event to an unrelated card in an unrelated sport that was supposed to have no overlapping audience. Then they waited, said, oh, we want you guys to be able to watch it. No, you did it because you knew you couldn't compete, and you would have lost money, more money than you probably already did. So needless to say, it was a horrible look for Canelo, and Canelo's getting paid this phenomenal amount with DAZN. He's buying yachts, and it just looks like it's crazy. Like I'm trying to understand the vision. I'm trying to understand how Canelo was signed to DAZN, but there was nothing written that they have some say in who he fights, because you know DAZN wanted Canelo to fight Triple G, and Canelo just keeps saying no. I don't even think that's a big fight now. Derenchenko, I thought, beat Triple G. And Canelo didn't look great at 175. His weigh-in looked rather dry. It just looks like his star power is fading, as well as Golovkin, Anthony Joshua. And that's like the big three on DAZN. So I'm really curious to see. Funny, new media. I told you Deontay Wilder was the face of boxing, and Canelo's star power had been fading. And I just seen an article with Boxing News 24, I believe it was. And I've been saying this stuff for months. The new article I seen says, will U.S. audiences accept Canelo's next fight? And now all of a sudden I'm seeing articles that are questioning, like, can Canelo, impress fans, U.S. fans, with the Ryota Murata, Billy Joe Saunders, these types of fights. And this is what I've been saying from the beginning. So just know, new media, we control the narrative. Like I always tell you guys, don't believe the hype. You know where boxing gets their information from, you know, or in terms of information, I mean like the outlook, the talking points. There's so many people who come to my channel, watch it, listen, hear the points, it makes so much sense. And then you see it appear in articles and stuff like that, you know, and this happens time and time again. They won't cite, you know, Boxing Ego as like, oh, he brought up a good point, but you know, because this is what we talk about and have a built-in audience, etc. And it's interesting times. I think we live in a society where people will still pay. I think streaming could be the future, but right now people are still willing to pay, but you got to make it worth the fans' while. It's no longer the days where an A-side fighter can just fight whoever they want, not listen to the fans, and not have the appropriate built dance partner who's been branded in America and expect to have any type of sensational numbers. I don't think that's what the climate is. But if it's a fight like Wilder Fury, great backstory, great guys, two good fighters, one champion, one, you know, claims a champion, lineal stuff. They have a history together. They're both showmen. They're both promising knockouts. They're both entertaining. You know, the first fight was an instant classic, very dramatic ending. Wilder has knockout power and he's exciting to watch. You know, these are elements for a good fight, and in my opinion, a big fight. But I can't wait. You know, I'm not going to speculate on who Canelo's going to fight. I don't know if it's Ryota Murata. Some people said he could fight him. Some people said they might revisit it later, like Kovalev. But I think the delay is proving what I've said about Canelo and DAZN. They do not know what to do with Canelo. They're trying to make money. They're trying to kind of figure it out. And I feel like they've been around. DAZN's been out in America long enough, and they're not seeing the results. And now we have to draw into question some of the practices like that I've been saying from day one and asking. These are the questions I had. How are you going to pay someone the amount of money Canelo's getting, but you can't make him fight who you want? How are you overlooking Andrade, who's on DAZN, and he's an American name, and he's never even in the conversation? He has to fight guys like Lucas Keeler, but a bunch of foreign fighters who aren't from America, haven't looked good in America, and or have rarely fought in America, haven't been branded in America. You think that's the ticket that fans want to see and pay for? It's just interesting times. So I'll leave it at that. I'm just wondering what's taking so long for Canelo's announcement, and it just looks chaotic, and it looks like unscheduled. It looks like, you know, you ever been at the house and someone just pops up unexpectedly? That's what Canelo's career is looking like. This doesn't look planned. This doesn't look like this is mapped out. This looks like kind of winging it and seeing what you can do and hoping for the best. You know what I'm saying? It's like someone in a street fight punching and they have their eyes closed and they're just hoping it lands. You know, and that's how Canelo's career seems like it's being handled to me at this current juncture. It doesn't look like a real good, solid game plan. Like, they don't seem to know what direction to go with Canelo. And then if DAZN has Triple G fight Camille Sesmeta and then tries to force Triple G Canelo 3 down our throats, I just don't see that being big. It's clear and apparent more so than ever that the people behind DAZN, a lot of them, there's no way you're a diehard boxing fan, because they have some interesting fights that they can make in-house. I've said the fights, I keep talking about it. I told you guys from the beginning, DAZN should have definitely reached out to a person like me from the jump, somebody that knows boxing, to help them out, because it doesn't seem like it's boxing guys that are at the helm of this thing. Because how do you get established stars who are on Showtime and HBO? Some of them. Anthony Joshua was on Showtime. He also had the Klitschko fight on HBO. Canelo was on Showtime and HBO. And then you had Golovkin, who was really on HBO. and they were already branded in America. And the big three with DAZN, all three of their profiles have been sinking ships as of late, with no signs of improvement, no vital signs that look like they're gonna have like fights that resonate with American audiences. And DAZN is they're trying to break through and break ground in America. DAZN's not trying to break ground in the UK, you know, because Sky Sports handles the boxing side of things with Sky Sports pay-per-view, Sky Sports box office. So they need to be important, and they need to be meaningful, and they need that to happen in America. And with fights like Camille Sesmeta, Triple G, possibly Ryota Murata, Canelo in Vegas maybe with Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Smith, these guys haven't really been branded, not coming off good performances. I just don't see how that's going to work. But I think that's why we haven't heard much from Canelo, and they're just trying to map it out. So maybe they pull out some kind of wild card. I still don't understand Canelo's vision, other than if they just want to cherry pick or whatever, and take fights that they like their chances, or guys coming off bad performances. But if you're gonna fight on like Mexican holidays and you're from Mexico, why not fight a guy like David Benavidez or Zurdo Ramirez? I think those are great fights, and these are all divisions that Canelo has dabbled with. You know, those fights all make sense. You have black fighters like Charlo and Andrade at 160, where Canelo just last year said he wanted to unify. Those fights make sense. You know, Better Biev at 75 makes sense. He looked a lot fresher than Kovalev in his last fight with Vodstick. But these guys are all not in the conversation for whatever reason. And Canelo fighting Charlo and Andrade, these are fights that could have happened at 154. So I'm really not understanding the direction, and I don't think, if it's who I speculate, one of the three people I suspect Canelo might fight, I just don't see that holding up well. And I think people are becoming disinterested with following Canelo more so than ever. It's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.